Awesome. All right, guys, it's Tuesday night. I'm so excited. I am super excited to have Michelle Rash here, and I can't wait to hear her full testimony. And I know that we're all excited to dig into team building, and we're going to be doing that together. She's super excited, and it's going to be a very, very good call. Hope you have your pens and your paper because I've been learning this week, and so I have things to share, and I know Michelle does as well. So it really is something that we're working on with our team, so we're excited to share with you guys so that we can all grow our teams. But before we even get started, I'm Jessica McCormick. It says I'm Jenna Garcia. I use her login, so that's why it says that. And I am a gold ambassador, and we also have Michelle Rash here as my guest, and she is a gold ambassador. And so it's the gold party tonight. Woohoo! So
Holla.
Party with the golds. And I know, right? We need music. So Michelle's going to be sharing her testimony. So I'm just going to kick it off to you, Michelle. Share your testimony, and then we'll dig into all the slides.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you very much for inviting me to be on this call. So it's funny because there were some questions asked of me today about how my day today was different from what it was before Plexus. So prior to Plexus, and I can tell you with certainty it was 2 years prior to Plexus. I had been diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, depression. I had debilitating panic attacks that would literally cause me to not be able to leave the house because I would break out into a sweat. I'd be terrified. Large crowds, like a social anxiety thing. Like, for instance, if I knew Chuck got paid on Friday, I had to use 2 or 3 days to get myself prepared to go to the grocery store at this time and be out of there, and to the farmer's market by this time, because I knew when crowds were coming. So, and if I missed the mark, I was done. I couldn't go. I mean, like, just being able to go out front was a huge deal for me. Some days getting out of bed was an accomplishment. And this was terrible because at the time I had a 3-year-old daughter who was full of energy, full of life. It was all I could do to keep up with her. And, you know, on top of that, I'm just miserable, just absolutely miserable, morbidly obese. I was eating, I'm pretty sure that Chuck and I bought Ben & Jerry's Beach House over those 2 years. Like, it was just crazy. It was out of control, just out of control. And the truth is, my marriage was just about done. I mean, we were literally looking at places to move separately, and those kind of conversations were happening. It was a very dark time for me, and I hadn't slept in those 2 years either. Enter Plexus. You know, like many people, I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see a friend of mine, post about this pink drink. And I'm like, what is she talking about? Like, what? And a couple of days later, I see it again. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I messaged her. I'm like, all right, what is this? And she says, it's this weight loss thing and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to have a party. Will you come? And I'm like, do you know me? I'm like, girlfriend, I don't leave the house. She's like, well, figure it out and just come. So I did. I grabbed my best friend, Allie, and said, you've got to go with me. I really want to go and hear about this. We go, and Amy Kosmalski is doing the presentation. And at the time, she was a senior Ruby ambassador. And I'm listening. And again, I'm morbidly obese, so I really should be paying attention to the weight loss. So I'm like, okay. I'm listening sort of half-heartedly. And she says, and people are reporting better sleep. Well, she had my attention. So that night I took home a 3-day trial. From the very first night, I slept like a baby. From the first night, it was crazy. And it wasn't, you know, hurting my feelings that I lost 3 pounds and 2 inches in those 3 days.
Wow.
Wasn't mad, right? So on day 3, I talked to my husband. He's like, you're not getting mixed up in another crazy thing. I'm like, that's not this. It's different. I'm telling you, this is, you know. And I was also faced with having to go get a job to help support our household. And it was not like, hello, you know, I can't leave the house to go brush my teeth. I can't go do that to leave the house to work. So I signed. Within the first month, my business just took off like crazy. I lost some weight. within 45 days of me signing and using the products consistently, I was able to go to a high school reunion that I had RSVP'd for years that I was going, and everyone knew, she's a ghost, she's not showing up. And no one believed I was going to be there that night. I couldn't believe it, but I walked into this room where there was over 100 people and jaws dropped. Not necessarily at how I looked, but that I was there. And it was amazing. I didn't have there was no panic attack. I wasn't sweating profusely. My heart wasn't racing. I was happy to see people. I also realized that, all those years that I thought people were just genuinely jerks, like everybody, it was me. Who knew? I just was, full of, imbalance. So the products have not only alleviated I have no more symptoms of anxiety, not a panic attack once, depression and all things that go along with PTSD. I don't have them anymore. Is every day all sunshine and roses? No, I do, have to work at things. But overall, like, my entire life has changed. On top of that, through the self-confidence that I gained from feeling better and having a successful business and having an incredible, crazy incredible support team, upline, downline, sidelines, people are always willing to help. My husband and I have a newfound relationship. We started talking to each other. He wasn't such a jerk anymore. He probably never was, probably. But he has since lost 80 pounds.
Wow.
And right. And the first month he lost 3, and he's like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm like, yeah, you are, because we're in. So he stuck with it, Mr. Skeptic, but he's also no longer pre-diabetic. We're both off all of our medications. To say that I show up for my life now is a big, huge thing. So when the question was posed to me today, we're at the park with my daughter and she's playing and we're talking, how does it feel to be able to do this right now? And I just said, Kevin, this is just like before Plexus, this was just Tuesday for most people. They get up, they get dressed, they go. For me, it wasn't happening. For me to be in that park today at this moment in the middle of a Tuesday is complete Plexus freedom for me. And I'm not talking about the money and the work from home. That's all, I have all that. But the freedom to be able to walk out of my front door and my daughter say, can we go? And I say yes. And we spent the entire summer at the pool where I met a new friend who ended up joining my team. And we go to the mall for mommy-daughter dates to buy a book and have an ice cream, and just no longer living with the guilt from not being who I need to be for her. No longer living with the fear and the anxiety. It has been completely freeing. I can't even begin to, there's just no words. But as far as the business, I have a successful business. I have an amazing team. It's kept me home with my daughter. And so, it's just been, it's an answered prayer is exactly what it is. It's been an answered prayer.
Wow. Wow. I love that you said that you can show up to your life now. Wow.
It's the truth.
That's just so powerful to live where you couldn't go out without having those panic attacks. And then now you can live your life and you can say those words, but to really understand that, wow.
Mm-hmm. I was isolated for a long time. Like I said, I didn't leave the house. And a lot of my relationships were being lived vicariously on Facebook. That's all great for connecting, but it's not human. One of my best friends who was also on my team, when I started to feel better and I started to share my testimony and I started to talk to her about what was going on, I didn't realize what a strain it had put on our relationship, that I wasn't going to her kids' birthday parties and I wasn't coming to her house for whatever, she was inviting me to. And she said, I'm so glad that you told me this because I thought it was our relationship. Mm. And it just made me cry because I thought we've been friends since we were 14 years old and now we're not 14. We've been friends for 30 years, So it's just been amazing.
Wow. Wow. Jana told me that your testimony was just fabulous, and she's right. She's completely right. Just amazing to hear, and I'm so glad you found Plexus. And it's this is why we share. Your story right here, right now, is why we share, and why I won't stop. I won't stop. So wow.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we're gonna get on to team building. Are we ready to talk team building?
Yeah.
All right, go party. Okay. So I want to start with potential ambassadors. And we'll be talking about ambassadors and ambassadors that are brand new, ambassadors that you've had for a while. But we're going to start with those potentials because we want to build our team with our level ones. So it's so important to build your team with your level ones and to continue growing. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But where are you planting your seed? Because we're all planting seed for something somewhere. So we're going to talk about where are you planting it? Are you sharing with the no over and over again? So think about that. So are you talking to someone who's already told you no or not now, and you ask again and you go, that's one of my 5, woohoo! And you're like, no, because you know that person's going to say the same thing again, right? So are you sharing with a no and thinking, I planted my seed? No, you really didn't. Where did you plant it? It's unfertile soil, right? It's not going to grow. It's a no. I'm not saying never to go back to that person. No, I'm just saying don't always go back to that person and go, hey, are you wanting to do a Plexus and think it's one of your 5 that you're sharing with that day? So don't do that. Don't you think, Michelle? For real?
I agree. It's cheating.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I like that. I like that. It's cheating. I don't want to be a cheater. And I think we can do it unconsciously, because it's a comfort zone for us. So it's just something we can do naturally. So I think that's huge to not cheat. I like that. I'm going to use that. Don't cheat. And are you planting a seed at all? So we talked about Facebook, and we talked about that's where you found it. And so Facebook's great, and posting on Facebook is huge. But is that really planting the seed, or is that just throwing the seed on the ground and not covering it up or watering it or anything? You just throw it on the ground. So I think it's important that you do more than Facebook. The personal connection is huge. You have to comment on their stuff in Facebook. Don't just post on Facebook. You have to instant message. You have to text. You have to pick up the phone. You have to talk to people in person. It's so important that you don't just go, I planted a seed. I buffered all my posts. They're all posted. Yay, I'm good. I planted my seeds. Well, but did you really? And is that really working the business? Is that really enough? And I think that if you realize what the products do, like Michelle just told her testimony, and you realize what the business plan does, that you really will do more than just throw that seed in there and throw your post out on Facebook and cross your fingers and move on. I think it's so important. We were talking earlier, we were talking about the personal connection and how you have to get out of that internet bubble. Michelle, we were talking about that earlier, how you have to get out that internet bubble.
Yes, I'm sorry.
You're fine. You having a hard time hearing me?
I'm good now.
Okay, good.
So I was a huge internet bubble freak. I don't know how else to say it. And I have been preaching for a long time. My team will tell you, oh my gosh, that's all she ever talks about. Build relationships. You have to build relationships. You can look at your spouse, look at your significant other or whatever. You can't just expect to walk in and out of the house all day and never say a word to them. You have to communicate. You have to compliment, you have to work on it. So my husband and I started going back to church, and for us, it was to hear the word of God. That was our main reason. But our church has these groups that gather during the week at different people's houses under for different reasons, different interests. And I said to Chuck, that's where I need to go to build relationships. It's not about Plexus. And in fact, I was talking to Lou Lynn one night, and she said, girl, if your church has any groups, you need to get in there. And I said, Lou, I'm working on it. So we did, and I've joined, well, most people joined one. I joined three because honestly, each one of them were something that I prayed for an answer to. And I was like, I'm not second guessing this, I'm going. But here's what happened. And Sheila Medina will tell you, if you listen close enough, somebody's going to tell tale about themselves. The very first one, first of all, I really enjoyed all of the people that I met. Honest to God, I enjoyed all of them. And I'm looking forward to really building on those relationships. But the very first group I went to, two women, I haven't slept. My sleep is horrible, just going on, and I just listened. The very next meeting was all about, we need to make more money. I'm like, really? I'm in the right place for you people. Like, we can help. And then the next one was about building relationships with your spouse. And someone happened to start talking at the end about how she needs a colon cleanse. And Chuck's like, no, I can't keep quiet here. I'll be right back, and went and got her business card and talked to her. And so these are we're planting seeds with these people of trust. We're genuinely interested in these people and getting to know them. And if nothing ever happens with Plexus and our newfound friends, I'm totally okay with that. I love them anyway, and I truly want to get to know them. But here's like this, I guess maybe like the perfect outcome. I met a woman named Brandy at the Y this summer at the pool. We got along. Our kids got along. She's just a really nice person. She started to tell me about her physical ailments, and I'm thinking, girl, we have got the answer. And so we started talking a little bit about Plexus, but when we'd see each other, we'd text, or if she brought the kids over, that's not all the conversation was about. It was centered on our relationships and the kids. So I ended up giving her some to try. She ended up buying a couple trial packs. She was like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. I'm signing as an ambassador. Well, her health testimony, when she puts it out, it is phenomenal. Nothing has helped her except Plexus. And I mean, like, she gets teary over it. It's crazy amazing. And now she's an ambassador on my team. And it's just like, the heavens opened up for me with this. So sorry, I didn't mean to go on and on, but I have such a passion now for building relationships after not leaving my house for 2 years. I can't talk enough about it.
I love it. That you are the perfect person to be on this call. I love it. It's so important, like you said, it's not about Plexus. I mean, it is about Plexus because that's a passion of ours, but to build that genuine relationship, it's so important to have that genuine relationship. My husband's a worship pastor, and so we're in the ministry, and so I'm in front of people all the time. So it's not something I push, but they know my heart. They call me the Plexus Queen at church. It's great because they know my heart. And on Wednesday nights, I always wear my a Plexus shirt, and but I don't push it on anybody, but they know, and they see. And I think that's the important thing. They know, they see, and I'm building those relationships. And if they say something about an ailment, I'm just like, Chuck, I'm going to go get my business card. No, they know my number, but I'm going to be like, hey, there's something right here. And they're like, yeah. She's not ready for that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Or they'll be like, okay, I'm ready. Let's go. So really, you have to have that relationship and that trust, like you said. So it's huge,
Mm-hmm.
and genuine, completely genuine, not to where I'm trying to be your friend so you can buy Plexus. No.
Exactly. Hi, nice kids you have there. You're going to love your new website. No. No, there's got to be a little bit more in that sandwich.
Yeah, sometimes a lot more, but yeah.
Right.
All right. So let's see. It'll let me. There we go. All right. What kind of fertilizer are you using? So seeing the harvest, and that's what I was saying, sometimes a lot more. It takes time, effort, and the right tools. And so are you following up? And if you are, how are you following up? Are you like, so if you thought about Plexus, you gonna do it? So that may not be the way to follow up. I watch Celeste Gwynn on Periscope all the time, and she's saying, almost every time I hear her talk about follow-up, she's saying follow up with something different. and you're watching their post. Hopefully you're going back to Facebook and you're watching those potentials, those people who have asked you questions. You're watching their page. So you know if they're like, oh my gosh, I have a migraine, or oh my gosh, I'm so tired. So you're watching those signs because they're going to, like you said, they're going to tell. They're going to give their tell. And are you watching those? And then follow up with something like, hey, I saw you had a migraine this week. I hope you're feeling so much better. I just want to share this testimony with you about someone who had the same issue, always had migraines, and now Plexus has helped her be migraine free for 2 years, or whatever it is. And then share a testimony. So you're sharing something different that relates to their life. So follow up is huge. And I do that with potential customers, with potential ambassadors, because if you think about it, you don't really know at that point whether they're going to be an ambassador or whether they're going to be a customer. So it really, why not just follow up with something different? And even if it's, hey, I'm going through financial trouble, just share your business testimony and just say, hey, this is what Plexus has done for me. It's been such a blessing. And this is what it's allowed me to do and meet with me and my family. And I can help you get to that point, you know? And so it's so important to include that too, because they can think, yeah, it worked for you. But you have to help them get to that point. So I think that's so important too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think it's huge. And I think we forget to follow up. And am I saying talk to them every week? No, please don't. Like, talk much, but no, please don't talk to them every week. But talk to them every month. Talk to them every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, consistently. And Celeste Quinn, like I said, I watch her Periscope. She says all the time, if they've not shut that door, slammed it in your face, and said, please don't talk to me anymore, there is an open door. And you need to be communicating with them.
Oh my gosh, I agree with that 100%. If they're leaving it open, because it's not necessarily not ever. It's a not now.
Right.
And at some point, they're going to go, okay, I've either, whatever the reason is, I've got my money together. I'm ready to do this. I've had enough. Yep. But if you're following up with them, I agree with that. Like I even train my team to do that when they're following up with their current customers. Start with something personal. A lot of people say, I can't get anyone to respond to me. So I tell them, if you start with something personal and it's genuine, I just saw that picture of you and your kids at the pumpkin patch. I saw you and your husband on a vacation that looked so romantic, something genuinely interesting. And then I say something like, and I'm just checking in to see how your Plexus journey is going, or if you have any questions, just something simple. The bulk of my message is about them. I do the same with potentials following up. They're not interested in what you have to sell. They're interested in what you have to offer them.
Yeah, and they love to talk about themselves. I mean, we all do, right? So right. I think that's huge too. If you've seen them going through a hard time, especially if they're going through a hard time, just check on them. I wouldn't ask a Plexus question, but check on them. Make sure you talk to them. If they're going through a hard time, somebody passed away in their family, something of that nature, check with them. Just see how they're doing. Just check on them. And I say this with people who, whether they're your customers, they're your potential ambassadors because they've asked you a question, right? Because those are kind of potential ambassadors. Or even if they haven't, somebody who you think would rock this business, these products, those are people on your list, and those are people with the stars and the highlights and the circles on your list. And so those are people you want to go to their Facebook page, check on them daily, and so that you can find an opportunity to check on them, to send them an instant message and go, hey, how you doing? I saw this post. I just wanted to make sure you're doing okay. But make it genuine. If you don't really care, don't do it. But make it genuine. Yeah. Seriously, make it genuine. And don't say how you doing, so you want to do Plexus. Just ask how they're doing.
Exactly. Your disingenuine message will translate.
Yeah. Yeah, they can read that and they know that. And if they know you, they know you're genuine. So that's a great thing about it. And they know you're genuine. Funny story. I answered a question to one of my friends who I've been friends with, for a long time. And I hadn't pushed Plexus on her. She knows I'm doing it. She's actually my boss's wife. Anyways, long story. So she's super, super sweet. And she I brought Plexus up to her because my boss was having some really, really hard time just with allergies and couldn't breathe. And I'm just like, you need to be on a probiotic anyways. And so I just talked to her and I said, hey, I said, no pressure, but this is what the probiotic does. And I shared with her what it's done for me because, hey, these products are helping people. Who are we to keep them to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just genuinely shared with her. And as soon as she opened the door, like, okay, tell me more, I'll check it out. I like went probably a little crazy. I was super excited. And so I sent her, hey, here's this and here's this and this. She's like, you're like the perfect commercial for Plexus. I was like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, man. You've got your stuff. It's always good.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, here's what it is. Here's what it does. And so I think it's so important that we always share and we always follow up. And again, this was not somebody who asked me a question. This was one of my 5, honestly, because I took that big leap and reached out to her, and it was a successful leap. So
Yep.
take your leap.
Can I just tell you that happened to me Saturday night?
Really?
We went to church at a time that we don't normally go. And we have, like I said, we've been building relationships there for about 8 months. We love our pastor. He's just funny and anointed and engaging and he's just a really great guy. And we happened to be there. Alexa and I were sitting in the cafe. I was having a cup of decaf, and the crowd had pretty much thinned out. And he was sort of, making his way out, and he stopped and he just said hello and how are you doing? And I was just telling him, I really appreciated your word tonight, and it's really speaking to me, and I appreciate it. He looked a little tired, which I've never seen that on him. And I said, Mark, how are you doing? And he said, man, it's been a rough week. My son, and I said, I think he's 9. I said, what's going on? And he said, he's got some serious digestive issues. And I said, but really, like, what's going on? And at that time, Chuck had sat down with me and he says, well, have you ever heard of leaky gut? And Chuck and I looked at each other and did a mental high five, and we're like, in fact, we have. And he was telling us what was going on with him. And so, of course, I was generally interested in this kid's health. And I said, well, what else is he experiencing? And he's autistic on top of it. So everything gets amplified with his belly issues. And I said to him, he said, we've tried all these medications. We've tried this, we've tried that. We've gotten him off gluten and blah, blah. And I said, well, have you ever tried a probiotic? He goes, yeah, but it didn't do anything. I said, well, I'm going to guess that your probiotic didn't have an antifungal and that no one directed you to look at what feeds Candida and what kills it. He's like, well, no. I said, so Chuck pulls out his business card. I said, you know what? Put that away. I said, Mark, we have an extra bottle of probiotic at home. So I'm going to bring it in for you tomorrow morning at the 9 o'clock service and just, have him take it 2 at night. I told him, blah, blah, blah. His doctor had already approved a probiotic. So, if he wanted to call him, he still could. But my point is, and when I took it to him the next morning, he was so grateful. I mean, it was a look you in the eye. Thank you. But we really do care about his child, and it comes across. We care about him. We care about his family. So because we had been taking the time over weekends to just say hello and tell him we appreciate him, and we even friended him on Facebook, and every now and then we send him a little high five message about whatever the word was that weekend. The relationship has been building, and so he felt comfortable enough to say to us what was going on. Boom. I think we have something that can help. And in fact, here's a free bottle. So I think that probably went a long way with him.
Wow. And I can't wait to hear that testimony. I mean,
girl, you and me both.
Wow. The life-changing that can have for that child. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And for the whole family, because they're really all going through it together. Wow. That's going to be
really absolutely. Yeah. I can't wait to see his parents come in and say, he hasn't had any symptoms or they've been lessened for the last 30 days. Like, that would be a huge answered prayer for me.
Absolutely. Well, I'll be praying that as well, for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think you mentioned the next one. It says, what are you doing to stay in the forefront of their mind? And you said that you every once in a while, you'll send a high five, great message. And I think that you didn't do that to stay in the forefront of their mind. but you did that to encourage them. And I think that that's how you stay in the forefront of someone's mind, is you are constantly an encourager. And whether that's commenting on somebody's post, it's so important not to just like. Please comment on their post in Facebook and Instagram, somewhere comment. And also send them instant messages, send them text messages. I am really, sometimes I'm good about it, but most of the time I'm really good about sending text messages. We help with the youth group as well at church, and so I'm sending them to my girls, and we're doing a mentorship program, so I have to do that. But I also send it to the ladies in the ministry. I'm just encouraging the people on the worship team, just sending texts. And sometimes it's the same text, and I'll just copy and go paste, and send a text. But and then I do pray for them. If I'm going to say I'm praying for them, hey, I'm going to pray for them. I'm not going to just say praying for you and really not praying for you.
Because that's cheating too.
See, that's cheating too. That's totally cheating too. And that goes back to be real, be authentic, be genuine, be you. And I think you need to be an encourager. You need to be an encourager. Someone who's uplifting all the time. We always say stay positive on your post and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Stay very positive. Don't really go to the negative side. And if you do, twist it back to the positive. It's so important to stay positive and encouraging, but personally encouraging them, not just liking their post, comment, send them an instant message, check on them, be genuine, and have your list. And those are the people you go to, and you're going to go, I'm going to comment. Don't be a scroller and a liker. For the years before Plexus, I was a scroller and a liker. And so I think it's so important to intentionally go to their page, intentionally comment on their stuff, intentionally be an encourager to them, and text them, call them, be an encourager. And once you do that and you're building those genuine relationships, they're going to see Plexus as, you know what, maybe it really is the real deal. Mm-hmm. Maybe it really is working, and just even the way you told me what happened on Saturday night, I was like, that was so genuine. That was so caring. You really wanted to see him feel better. And he recognized that. I know he did. So it's huge. So important.
It's huge for me too, because, going back to the 2 years prior to Plexus, I didn't care about anything that wasn't happening outside of my house because I felt rotten. You know what I mean? When you're not feeling great, you can muster up a, hey, how you doing? Or, oh, I'm sorry, your mom died. Right. But when you're feeling rotten, people would talk to me. My husband would talk to me. My eyes would glaze over. I don't care. I just feel rotten. I want to go back to bed. But when you feel good, you do good.
It's true. It's true. And I'm telling you, with these products, you feel good. There's right? I'm like, can I just skip it and take a nap? No.
Right? No.
But
I just wanted to touch super quick when you said be intentional. A lot of that can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. So, like I've talked to a girlfriend. Well, what do you mean be intentional? You mean like walk into a store where I don't know anybody and walk out with a friend? And I said, well, that would be fabulous if you could do that. I've seen Amy Kosmalski do that. It's phenomenal. However, that doesn't work for me. So be intentional about being kind to someone. Be intentional about, when someone says to you, how are you doing? Be intentional with your answer. I'm doing great. And when you say, how are you? Don't keep walking. Stop and say, how are you doing? Be intentional about hearing people. Whatever it is that you're going to do, it's that old adage, if you're going to do something, you need to do it well, or however it goes. So if you're going to talk to people, do it well. Get to know them, even if it's just, my husband is fabulous at, we have Wawas here. I don't know if you have Wawas. They're convenience stores and delis, but we have them. They're planted all over this place. But he is a champ at walking into a local Wawa, and before he leaves, or within a day or two, he knows their name. He knows how many kids they have. Like, it's craziness. Me, I'm like, thanks for the coffee. I'll see you tomorrow. And then I'll go from there. But yeah, intentional is huge.
I like that. And be genuine. I mean, I really, don't fake tell me you're okay because I'm going to read your mail. So, and I think that's part of being genuine instead of accepting their fake okay,
Mhm.
going, you're not. What do you need? What's going on? And being a really true friend. And so I think that's huge. That's huge.
Yep.
All right. So let's go to new ambassadors. I'm sure we have some on the call today. Um, don't overwater and don't underwater. I think that we all have been guilty of probably doing both. And I think it's so important that we don't underestimate or overestimate their potential. Share the fast start option with all potentials. I honestly wish it was shared with me because I'd have done it. The fast start gold. So I think that it's important to not under or overestimate. Share it with them. Tell them it's an option, and then move on if they're not interested. But I think it's so important to share everything with them within, but you don't want to overwhelm them because you don't want to overwater in that way either. So I think you have to do it in a strategic way. But I think so important to share with every single person that's going to join the business, and they're joining for the business. If they're wholesale customers, that's another story, right? So if hey, they want to come in and they want to wholesale buy the product, I have some of those that are wholesale customers. That's one thing. But if they're coming in for the business and they're looking to make money, share that fast start goal with them. Share with them what it means. Know how to share it. It's so important because you never know. But be ready, because if they say yes, you're going to have to help them. And be strategic with it. And that's a whole probably another call on helping somebody go fast start. I'm actually about to help someone. She's joining on November 1st. So that's why I say I'm being strategic. I didn't have her join now. Of course I wanted her to join. I run a rank, but no, I'm going to have her join when it's convenient for her to really work it and do it. So that's what we're doing. But it's so important to share it with everybody so that they have that opportunity. Because again, I wish I would have. But you don't want to underwater. You don't want to overwater. You don't want to underestimate. You don't want to overestimate. You don't want to go, this is my rock star. Yeah. And I went to a training where she said, I always forget her name. Jana reminds me of her name. I don't remember her name. But don't get too high and don't get too low. You just need to remain even. So if you get a white line, you crash. And if you get a new ambassador you think is going to be a rock star, you're so excited. Really just kind of remain even. Get excited, but on an even way so that you don't crash. You don't come crashing.
Yep. I tell my team, do not get emotionally invested in the answer. Whether it's a new customer or they say no thank you, whether it's a new ambassador and they say no thank you. Either way, we're good. It's all good. I'm going to keep going about my day, and should that new ambassador go emerald before me, I'm doing the happy dance. I'm going to videotape it and I'm going to do the happy dance. But until then, I have, just when it comes to decision making, don't get attached.
That's so good. And it's so important.
Yeah.
Especially because we're women, the ones that are women, who I'm sure we have some men on here, but especially because we're women, we can get emotionally attached to everything. So,
Yeah.
like food, I mean, like everything. Coffee, I mean, before plexus for sure.
Right.
It's so important to not do that, and really water at an even level, to really share with them everything, but share it evenly, and don't regurgitate everything about plexus to them in 3 hours.
Yeah.
Really just keep it going and tell them everything on a slow basis, but really be strategic, and don't just have somebody join who can be a rock star just so you can rank up, but it's the last day of the month, I'm going to rank up, I'm going to have this person join. I think that, yeah, you want to rank up, and yeah, you want to have them join, but really help them with their business. It's so important that you help them get their business started off right. And don't forget that they're building a business just like you are. So that's huge to me.
The more you help them, the more their success helps you.
It's true.
So it only makes sense to pour into the people that want it.
It's so true. And so I put on here to inform all potentials about the different Facebook groups and slowly add them and welcome them. I've seen people welcome on 70 groups all in one night, ready, set, go. And that probably is a little overwhelming, maybe a little overwatering. So you want to warn them, hey, I'm about to add you to some groups. And if they want to go fast start, you're going to move a little faster. But if they are really just want to just get started on the products and then see kind of what happens with the business, go a little slower and slowly add them to groups. Don't overwhelm them, but constantly communicate with them and let them know, hey, I'm adding you to this group. This is what this group is for. I think in the beginning I was like guilty party of adding them to all the groups and welcoming them. So I was on that high. I was so excited that somebody joined. And I think it's so important to communicate, hey, this is what this group is for. This is where you can go ask questions. And if you have any concerns or questions, you can ask them here. Concerns, obviously, instant message me. Questions are in the Rockin' group. And then, you know, move on from there and welcome them in your different places. But just let them know you're going to be doing that and don't overwater, but it makes them feel so special. So you want to do it. But I kind of spread it out. So I'll do one group on one day and the next morning I'll do another group. And I may do another group the next night and welcome them. And then I may do one whole next day. So they're kind of getting welcomes all week. And they're like, you just made my whole week every day. So I think it's so important to really keep it even and don't over or under and don't not welcome them at all. You know, you want to welcome
Right.
when they're like, hey, Susie just welcomed her new, and they're posted in the Rockin' group going, I'm new, welcome myself.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I have too.
That's no good. We want everyone to feel special.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Just as a note. All right, so I really have been doing a lot of studying about trees and their roots and how you want the tree roots have to go deep and they have to go wide as well in order for that tree to go high. So it's so important that we grow deep. Yes, we want our legs to grow deep, but we also want our to grow wide. So I think it's important to have that balance so that we can grow at the right level and we can have that stability. So I said it's important to have stability as you grow deep and wide. And so what do you mean, Jessica? So deep is where you have 17 levels deep. I have a friend who's gold with me and she's here in Red Oak and she's really deep. And but she's not as wide. So she's working on getting wider. And I think it's so important to really have that balance where you have the deep and the wide, where you have more than one level one that's going deep. You're kind of working on several ones that are going. So don't you agree with that, Michelle? Don't you think that we have to go deep and wide?
Oh, absolutely. It can upset the balance of your business. You could have a total collapse if you don't keep sponsoring new level ones. I mean, you don't get 7 and go, okay, I'm done, because that's all you need to go diamond. No, you want to keep helping people change their lives. It's not, of course, that's how we rank up and that's how we make our own paychecks bigger, but that's how you help more people. You just keep sponsoring like there's no end in sight. Well, I think Celeste Gwynn, now I get that she's a complete anomaly. I get that. But I think she has somewhere like 100 or 200 level ones. Like, that's a lot of relationship building over the years. So yeah, and don't ever count on one leg taking you to the top. That's not how our comp plan is set up. If you want to go emerald, you have to have, 1,500 points, but 350 of those points have to be from somewhere other than your primary leg. So do not put all your eggs in one basket. Oh, this person's going to take you to the top. Not going to happen. You're going to have to do the work.
Yeah, it's so true. And you're investing in more people when you go wide and deep. And it's just so important that you really, like you said, the level ones don't ever stop. I don't know if you could stop me if you wanted to. I'm just going to try to share with it as many people as I can, because I've benefited from the product so much. And I feel so much better like you. I mean, my gosh, you feel so much better. Your life has completely changed. And so I won't stop adding. And my next point was always look for more level ones, because remember, your team does what you do. So if you're not building and you go into management mode, they think, oh, I have 6 ambassadors. I'm going to go into management mode. Because Jessica's in management mode, so I'm going to go in management mode. So they're going to do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so important that you continue to add to your team. Don't give up adding. And I mean, look at Candy. I see her welcoming people when she's a diamond, right?
Right.
So Jana's adding level 1s. And so it's so important to continue to add level 1s and to get new customers, because they're going to do what you do.
I'd like to add something to that.
Yeah.
So, people will say, like, okay, that Candy's a good example right now. I have seen a couple of her new level one announcements. So, and I was taught this years ago, what you do in these 90 days sets you up for the next 90 days. And that doesn't mean that you work for 90 days and then you take a 90-day vacation. So if you're not signing new level 1s and your organization is not growing, look at what you've done for the last 3 months. Look at your calendar. If it's blank, there's your answer. Sometimes the answer is as far as your mirror. And that was hard for me because I was not in relationship building mode. I had switched to management mode without realizing it, and I did it for a few months. And I woke up one morning and went, oh, wow, what have you done? And my business was at a standstill and started going backwards. I'm like, no, this is not happening. And so I got back on and I started sponsoring people again. But if I'm not building the relationships with people, they're not going to come on board. So this 90 days, starting today, I'm working on relationships. Guess what? Tomorrow, for the next 90 days from tomorrow, I'm working on relationships. It's every day.
Every day. And it's with potentials, and it's with your current ambassadors and your current wholesale customers.
Mm-hmm.
It's so huge because there's so many diamonds that say they were wholesale customers and they're diamonds now. So
Right?
It's so huge not to forget about your wholesale customers and not to forget the potential that they have. And they could be one conversation away with you that could change their course. And so it's so important. Plus, they're not going to white line if you stay in communication. You're going to know if they white line what's going on. Hey, we're having a rough time this month. You're going to know what's going on in their life. And so it's so important to build those relationships and keep them going.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, I had a wholesale customer, and she was doing fantastic with the product. She had problems that I never knew of. And when she decided to join, she was, I'm going to be nice about this. She had some alleviation from her PCOS symptoms. And that's all I'm going to say about it. And I said, you're buying all these products. And if you were a wholesale ambassador, wholesale customer, you could save this much money. And she's like, really? And so she switched. And I'm going to tell you up front, I don't recommend this to everyone. I know this girl. I've known this girl since she was like 15 years old, and it was just a long-term relationship. I said, you know what else? I have one of your friends as a customer, and she knew this. And I said, and we can never seem to connect, and you're doing all the work anyway, so let's get her moved over under you, and you can start making money right away. And she was like, what? And I said, well, you guys see each other every day. You're talking Plexus every day. It just makes sense. So that's what happened. And her very first paycheck was $97. And she texted me. She's like, what happened? I just got paid. I'm like, yeah. She's like, I could get addicted to this. And now she's a $500 PV a month ambassador.
Wow.
And she's doing baby steps with her business, and she's doing $500 a month. So you just never know. Like you said, you've got to water those, nurture those relationships, because you never know who's going to go take off and who's going to go, that person you signed that you thought was going to go emerald in 6 months, who's done nothing. Love them where they're at, but bless and release, keep going.
True.
Right?
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. You have to really and you were genuine about it. And when you talk to her, you're completely genuine. So you have to do that, and you have to nurture those relationships. I put on here, you don't nurture your kids for one day, a week at a time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, we all hear these sayings, but you have to commit to the long haul, and you have to stay consistent. I've listened to so many CDs and books every day where I'm trying to build myself, right? And so every one of them say that you have to really say, okay, 2 years, 5 years, I'm in this. Because if you do, could you make that kind of money in 5 years working corporate? You couldn't.
Mm-mm.
And you just can't. And so you need to commit to the long haul and not go, I had a horrible month, the back office, it don't
Right.
like quit. No, you have to commit. You have to commit for the long haul and go, you know what? The back office is going to be fabulous. Once it's all working, it's going to rock.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. That's just the truth. And just the things that I can see that are working now are pretty fabulous. So it's going to be great. And I'm in it for the long haul. I'm in it for the 5 years to see, hey, where am I going to be? Think about it. My husband and I say all the time, you know, we have our when we're diamond house that we want to build, right? We even have a when we're emerald, what we want to do and what we're going to give and how God's going to use us in a different level financially. And we have those written down. Can you imagine? I mean, and the people you can help, it's just so cool to me to think about what we can do at that point. So I'm excited about those days. And so we have our win days and we have our dream boards. So it's so important to have those things and to remember that you don't want to sprint, because sprinting, if you sprint, you're going to do those little bitty, you're going to have roots this big. And you may have tons of them, but you're going to have them this big, and it's not going to have that stability, and it's not going to really grow. Mm-hmm. And so it's so important that you really just say, you know what, I'm doing this. I'm doing this for the long haul.
Yeah, you're just going to end up being a dried up old twig, and that's unfortunate looking. We don't want that.
No.
Healthy trees with lots of limbs and a sturdy trunk and, you know, deep roots.
Yeah. And it's real. I mean, this is real. This is real financial freedom. It's real health freedom. We can see it with everybody, all the testimonies out there. So we know it's real. It's tangible. It's reachable. It's something that we're going to be. You and I will be in Hawaii. I mean, come on, we're going to get to Hawaii. So I'm so excited about the potential, and we'll park our Lexuses next to each other at an event, I'm sure. So we'll have to go back to the call and say, remember when we said that? Look at our cars. So, I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting. And even if you're silver today, even if you have one ambassador today, even if you don't have one, if you're brand spanking new, guys, it's really, really possible for you. And you really need to buckle down, dig your feet in, and go, I'm in this. I'm in this. I can do this. It's going to be awesome. So in order to grow deep, you have to nurture deep. So work with the people who are working. We hear this all the time. Work with the people who are working no matter what level they are, whether they're level 2, 3, 4, 17, 18. I've heard different people say different things. This is my opinion. I think you work with them no matter what level they're at, because they're growing. And you want to help them grow their business. And so I did hold with customer service for an hour today for a level 2's customer. So not even a level 1, but it was a level 2. And so I think it's so important to not to go, hey, I'm going to only work with my level 1s. No, you have to work with your level 2s, 3s, 4s, whatever you have, who is working the business. Work with them, encourage them, be there for them, build that relationship with them. It's so important to do that. And I think that she was a level 2, and just working with, I don't know if she's on the call. Hi, if you are, but I think it's so important to really, really encourage those people, because this is an issue she had for a while, but she hadn't come to me. And I was like almost getting on to her going, really? She goes, well, you're not my level 1. I said, I don't care. And even then when I texted Jana what happened, she was like, well, why didn't you let me call with you? So I was like, sorry. So it's because we all care. And we all care and we want to be there for each other. And I'm, like I said, I'm Jana's level 2. And so I'm not her 1 and she's a diamond. So for her to go be like, why didn't you let me call with you and sit on the phone for an hour with you, you know? So she was super duper sweet and really encouraging. And you want to do that. You want to help your deep. You want to build those roots even further deep. Imagine if you could build your teams even further deep by working with those other levels. It's just crazy. I don't know what I've heard people say only level 1s, but I don't think you limit that.
No. In fact, the sort of, I'm going to say it's like an old school rule of thumb is you work with your first 3 levels. I don't have that belief. In fact, I am Jana's level 4. And when I started my business, it's not a secret. My sponsor signed me and dipped out. And the state of mind I was in, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, did this just, and I didn't even know Amy. I had met her once. So I'm hearing and rocking and Team Plexi and in Amy's Queen Peas group, reach up to, reach up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take you at your word. I'm on the phone texting Jana, Candy, Amy with different questions, different, picking their brains. Never once did they ever say, who is your sponsor? Because that's who you need to go to. Or I don't have time for you. Every single person that I have ever reached out to, no matter where they are, people that aren't even under Jana or Lisa McKeever, people from whole different teams. How can I help? What do you need? Here's what you can do. I mean, it's just been incredible. So having had that experience, it's imperative that I make sure that my team, no matter what level, know that I'm here. I'll friend them on Facebook. If they don't accept the request, that's fine. That's their thing. I'm cool with that. But I do message them when they come on board. I do let them know I have a level 5 that I work with on a pretty consistent basis. She's awesome. I mean, she's amazing. And I just love her. And she's so much fun. And but even if my relationship with her would be the same if she was level 5 or if she was level 15.
Yep.
And I happened to one day reach out and say, hey, you're doing great. Do you need some help? Yes, I do. Okay, let's do this. You never know who needs what and who's afraid to ask. And so, help them. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get an organization and you're going to have, say, 100 people under you. And you're going to see who is working the business, who really wants it, who interacts, who answers questions, who asks questions. And then it's going to be, you're going to look at the 20% of your organization that really wants it. And that's who, in my opinion, that's what I'm doing anyway. That's who I'm spending my time with, the bulk of my time.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Especially if they're reaching out to you and you can tell if they're posting in their group consistently, they're really trying hard to build their business. I'm going to do everything I can. I posted in the rocking group for one of my level 2s the other day saying, hey, I had a new rock star on my team who's trying to build. Can y'all go comment, on her thing? And we have people go comment. And I didn't care that she was a level 2. I want to help her build her business because I see her really trying hard. So I'm like, let's do this. Let's boost her for a bit. Yeah. And so I think it's so important to really do more for not just for your level 1s, to do other levels.
Agreed.
So this is probably my favorite one. Don't underestimate the power of the sun. You have the opportunity and the privilege to speak into your ambassadors' lives. And for me, again, we're in the ministry, and so it's so important that you use your words to bring people up and to encourage people, because words matter. No matter what you were taught as a kid, words matter. And every single day I get a thank you, and I don't do it for the thank yous. Don't get me wrong. I don't do anything for the thank yous, but that's what it's about. Is life's about encouraging people and lifting people up. And I really think that if you're not doing that, you're putting a shadow over that sun and you're not letting your team grow. You're not having them grow, even if you're not being discouraging. But if you're not doing anything at all, again, you're being that shadow. You're covering up the sun. And so it's so important to really uncover that sun and to be an encourager on a consistent basis, not just for, oh, today I'm going to go encourage everybody. No, consistently. I'm not saying every single day again, don't stalk, but go and just be consistently an encourager. It may be once a month for some people, twice a month for some people, once every 2 months for some people. You'll learn. You'll know when you'll learn for sure. But to really be intentional, we talked about that earlier, be an intentional encourager. Be an intentional encourager. And even if you think their life looks perfect on Facebook, they have this perfect little family, they're posting, they're always happy, they're checking in at all these fun places. Their life may not be perfect, or it may be perfect. You still want to encourage them. You still want to encourage them. It's so huge to encourage them. Don't you agree? I mean, you have to have that sun.
Oh, absolutely. I have, I will send text messages, and I don't mean, they're intentional. I don't mean I'm just going, hey, you rock. No, they're going to feel it. Like, I'm pretty transparent with my friends and my family. So if I send a message to anyone, especially people that know me, like my team, you did a fantastic job. I am so thrilled with the testimony you put. Like, I absolutely love it. I can't wait to use it. You have a fantastic testimony. I encourage you to get it written down, if anything, and tell it, because people need to hear it. It's not, you're putting yourself out there, but it's about them. Always make it about them. But my point is, just like when you post on Facebook, having a great day, if you're not, it translates. That energy translates right through. So, I might send, hey, Jessica, I loved that call. I really did. Because I don't say stuff just to say it. That's just me.
Me either. What you say is what you get on the real.
Right? Yeah.
Player and all. Real deal.
Fluff belongs on a peanut butter sandwich. Not in a text message, right?
It's so true. I love it. I'm the same way. I mean, I'm very, especially my close friends know that I'm very blunt. And my filter, I have to be careful and have a filter, and not be too blunt. But that's where I have learned to be an encourager, because I know I'm that way. And so then I'll go, okay, God, turn me into that encouraging person that sometimes in my life I can be going through a really hard time and nobody knows it because I keep things in, but I'll get a text message from a friend and you're going, you know what? Okay, I can do this. We're going to get through this day. And so you never know who's having that kind of day. And it's so important. It's so important. And I pray every single day, God, who am I supposed to share with today? Who am I supposed to text today? Who am I supposed to encourage today? Guide me to the right people, because you just never know. You just never know.
Yep. Agreed. 100%. Every now and then there's someone I send and I love you text too. I just want to tell you I love you. And she'll say, you had no idea how much I needed that today. It's like, well, you were on my mind. I just wanted you to know. And that's it.
Yeah. Just simple.
Exactly. Just simple.
Simple but genuine.
Yep.
And the next thing I put was connect your ambassadors to others that can help, that will help them grow. And I also put don't be the shade on here, because I think sometimes we can go, those are my ambassadors. Don't touch them. I'm going to help them grow. I think
that's just crazy.
I know. You can't do that. You have to really connect them with other people. I'm friends with 300 something Flexes people, and every training call I do, I hang up the call and I get about 5 to 10 more friend requests, and I always accept them because we're one Flexus, and anybody I can help in any way. I have people message me who are not on my team, and I try to answer as quick as I possibly can, but I want to help people, and I genuinely want to help people grow. And there's so many people that want to help. Like you said, you reached up to other people, and I've reached the sidelines. And I mean, here you are, you're a sideline, right?
Exactly.
On her first leg, right? I'm on her second go to diamond. But I think it's so important to really connect people. If you see, hey, this person's young, and I see they just joined, and I want to connect them with someone who's younger, who's really succeeding. So I'm going to have them suggest friendships on Facebook and have them try to connect And it's so important to really do that and to really encourage them, hey, go join this group, because you're going to see some really great testimonies, and she's very encouraging. And I think that you should be in that group with your age group or whatever it is. I think it's so, so important to connect people and not hold them all into yourself. This is my team.
That, in my opinion, is the definition of insanity. Absolute insanity. That's just me. I'm not, I don't work under the one that dies with the most toys wins. That's just crazy. When, like I said, when I started, I reached up but I also reached out. One of the very first people that I messaged and befriended is Donna Jones, who's now a senior Ruby ambassador. There was something about her, and I said, I just want to be in your pocket. You seem to know what you're doing. She's like, I really don't, but here we go. And we formed a relationship, and and she was super helpful. So now if I connected, for instance, one of my level ones with and one of Amy's level ones and one of her level 3 or 4s, I think, because the ladies all had something similar. And so some similar in common. It could be anything. It could be stay-at-home moms, or they're runners, or they love to knit, or they're having trouble, getting their business started, whatever it is. Put them together with people that know what they're doing and watch the sparks fly. It's crazy amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And I have people all the time and I've actually messaged some people going, okay, I just want to be your friend. I just want to be your friend. I just want to watch you. And so they're like, okay, I'll add you to my group. And they add me. And I do the same thing. I have people who, after the training call, usually, who will message me and go, okay, I just want to just watch you and be your friend. Thank you for friending me. I'm like, okay. So I add them to my group so they can watch. And I think it's huge. Hey, why not? Why? We're one Plexus, and let's all work together, and don't forget that, and really be encouraging to them too, because you may need them one day to be encouraging to somebody on your team. That's not why you do it, but you do it because we're all one. We're all
exactly.
One. We're all one. So that's
exactly.
So I think this is my last one. And I know we're a little bit past, so we're going to fly through this as fast as we can, but it's super fast. Existing ambassadors that have been with you for a while. I know, Michelle, how long have you been in?
Just about a year and a half.
A year and a half. So I've been in since February, so not as long. And so it's so important to help them remember their why. Even if it's been 7 months, you need to help them remember their why. It's easy to go, it's been 7 months and I'm not making the kind of money I thought I could make in 7 months, because they want to do the sprint. They're not in it for the marathon. And I think that it's so important to remind people, why did you join? Why did you join Plexus? Why are you doing this? Mm-hmm. And okay, you're not where you think you should be at this point. What can we do to help you get there? What can we do together to get you to that point? And let's make some real goals and then plans to get to those goals. Not just going, here's my lofty goals, and not making any plans, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I always say, if I'm directionally challenged, ask Jana, I have panic attacks if I get lost. But so if I put the address in my GPS, but I don't ever hit start, it can't tell me where to go, and I'm going to be lost, and I'm not going to get there. So I have to have those plans laid out so I can get to my destination and hit that start button and start making those plans. I think that's huge to do. And to stay in their lives. If their kids are having a birthday, wish the kids happy birthday, not just them. And I think it's so important to know what's going on and to stay in their lives and be genuine about really wanting to build that relationship. And then I said, repeat all the slides. Just repeat them all. Go repeat. Be consistent. Just go repeat everything, and to grow in existing ambassadors. But I think the most important thing with them is to stay in their lives and to remind them of their why.
Absolutely.
I think
absolutely. I just want to say super quick. Sometimes people don't know how to go from A to Z to get to their goal. So if we start at the goal, here's where I want to be. Well, how am I going to get there?
Yeah.
Well, I need to know more people. Well, how am I going to meet them? Well, I'm going to join some groups. I'm going to leave the house. Well, how am I going to do that? I'm going to take a friend. So if you just sort of whittle it down, instead of going, I have to go from A to Z. No. We're going to we're going to do the whole alphabet and little steps. And, some people can, like I said, because Kosmalski just blows me away. I've seen her and her mother befriend people all around the minute. It's craziness. But yeah, so
No, I
that's
think
it.
just even give my husband a dirty look because he's making noise. No, I
Mine
think
was just doing the same thing.
I was like,
They must have texted each other, like, what are you girls doing? It's their 10 o'clock.
I know. Come on, I'm making noise. No, I think it's just huge, and I think that we need to, if we can take anything from this, it's consistency, it's encouragement, and it's being active. And I think that if you can do those things and be active on Facebook, be actively encouraging, don't just be a passive person and think that you're doing something, be active. And it's so very important to do that. And so I can't wait I know we recorded this and I hope it all worked out, because I can't wait to share it with the people who couldn't be on, because your testimony alone made this call fantastic. So
Thank you.
just life, seriously, life changing and life altering, and touched my heart, really, really touched my heart. So thank you so much for joining me, and we'll do another one together for sure, because I really enjoyed this.
Oh, thank you. You are a rock star. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I like gold parties. We'll have more gold parties.
Yeah, we need to have them in person.
Yes. Are you going to be there?
Not this year.
You're
Sorry, sister. Not going. Got church folk responsibilities.
Okay, fine. So convention then.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Gold party and convention. All right, guys. And if you're not gold now, get gold and come party with us.
Exactly.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all later. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you.